The Business and Biodiversity Forum during COP14 sent a clear message. There is no shortage of finance. The challenge is to create a flow into biodiversity positive projects. It is possible, and it is happening right now all around the world, demonstrating that there can both be profit and conservation. This is the New Deal for business and nature for a post-2020 agenda. The New Deal unlocks potential by working across sectors and conventions, integrating conservation and investment opportunities to create a path of growth that is grounded in safeguarding the global commons.
We've come to a crossroad. There is available financial resources. However, we haven't been deploying it in the most efficient way. And we need to now find mechanisms in way to leverage that financing and direct it to the right initiatives as well as the right types of projects so that we can increase our impact on biodiversity and the protection of ecosystems.
Well, our biggest sources for financing for biodiversity are still untapped. Public funds exist, they are very important, they are very strategic, but they will never grow to the extent that we need it. We need to really tap on commercial markets. We need to really look into the global economy, which is now $75 trillion, and bring some of those resources, not to fund conservation necessarily, but to green it in a way that biodiversity then flourishes and stays with us.
The GEF stimulates positive impact by building a coalition among private and public partners and creating enabling conditions, introducing financial mechanisms, and mobilizing commercial funding.
Financing is not a challenge. There's money that's looking for a home everywhere in the world. What we need is a pipeline of viable projects, and we've been trying to do this. For example, in the last cycle of the GEF, we invested $100 million in some 11 projects that mobilized $1.8 billion of additional investments that would not otherwise be available just from public sources.
Money flows generally in case there is return, low risk and high scale. And this is a concept that often gets misunderstood. There's a lot of finance available and money is very cheap these days. My country, Switzerland, has negative lending rates, but that does not mean that money flows. If these three conditions are met, money flows. If they're not met, money doesn't flow. So for us here in this community, we need to work on these three conditions. Landscape investments must become more attractive in terms of returns, less risky and more scalable.
Some of these solutions could be transformational for the sector, and we need to take a bet, and we need to unlock capital that allows these to get to past the proof of concept stage and to the commercial investment stage, where there's a lot of money out there for investment, and basically we need to make the risk profile to the point where that capital can flow into it.
So if we really are going to understand the impacts and dependencies that we have on biodiversity, we need to have ways of getting this into decision making. Natural capital is the way that you get biodiversity into the decisions that we make every day, from governments, through businesses, through finance institutions. This is the process that we will use to make this the new normal. If you're trying to create a water filter system, could you build it in concrete or do you use nature-based solutions? And it's very obvious when you start doing an assessment that nature-based solutions not only is cheaper, but actually has less maintenance costs, is better for the environment, better for society. So all of these wins come through very, very simply.
Engaging stakeholders is key in growing solutions to scale, requiring strong policy signals that activate the private sector to incentivize sustainability.
Well, for me it's really exciting to be here at the Biodiversity COP, because I think what we learned in the climate space was that when we bring the so-called non-state actors, the businesses, the cities, the religions, the states and regions into the conversation, it really builds political momentum.
I personally am very, very optimistic, and so is the World Economic Forum as an organization. And why is that? Because today everything that we are observing around us are definitely monumental challenges, but much of it is also because there is a trend in geopolitical shifts which is coming in parallel to economic challenges and environmental risks. So it may seem quite overwhelming, but the truth is all of these things are interconnected. So what we need to be able to encourage is have a view which connects all of these things together.
In any level that you are as an individual, you can play your part to protect nature. The choices that we make determine our future. So investing in nature is investing in humanity.